I'm thrilled to be here with two of my colleagues from Merge in celebration of Women's Health Month and kick off this discussion on marketing to women's life OS. So I'm Molly Lane. I run brand strategy for Merge.
I'm Allison Benson. I'm the EVP of Account Management on the Life Science team.
Hey, I'm Dawn Bishop, and I am the EVP of Account Management for our Lifestyle division at Merge.
So let's get into it. We've moved past the era where women's health was a taboo topic, thank goodness. It is demystified now, but the definition of wellness is still shifting for women's health in particular. Dawn and Allison, from your different worlds of consumer technology with Dawn and life sciences with Allison, could you please just share with us what wellness looks like for a woman today?
Wellness looks like peace and stability for women today. That could be physical health, that could be mental health, emotional health, whatever it may be. But it's the ability to be able to take control and effectively manage all of the responsibilities and challenges and opportunities that present ourselves, as leaders in an organization, as moms, as wives, as providers. There's so much that goes into a woman's life. There's so much context.
I love what Allison said, and I also believe, one of the biggest shifts that women no longer experience in silos, or what we're getting better at, is understanding that we don't separate our physical health from everything else going on in our lives, right? It's so much overload, and I think we're doing great at recognizing women holistically, that this is all part of the same operating system for us.
So we often see brands putting women into binary boxes, right? So either her health is a medical problem to solve, or it's a wellness hobby. We can kind of have pictures of those personas in our minds when we think about that. But why is that not the right approach, for marketing to women? And how does the concept of a life operating system, what we call it Merge Life OS, really change the way that we can help our clients connect with their female customers?
So an operating system is kind of like a traffic controller. There's a lot of traffic going on in women's lives today, right? And I think that's one of the things that we at Merge are able to do, is kind of understand the traffic that a woman is experiencing in their life, and to be able to contextualize that experience to make it just that much more meaningful and feel like it was pretty much made for them and for where they are in their particular journey.
One thing I love about my job, and I know that you love about yours, is at Merge, as we have the opportunity to really think about what you just said from a women's perspective, and how we help our clients and our brands think about moving from these idea of segments to systems, right? As we're talking about wellness today, we certainly know that it's less about optimizing for like one condition, and it's more about that interconnectivity reality of our life, to your point. And our approach around that infinite individualism definitely comes in that they're not just a demographic, they're not just a diagnosis, but it's understanding her motivations and those behaviors and those contexts to help shape real-time decisions.
I love hearing kind of the connection from our connected technology side of the house and our health, side of the house really come to. I think that's what makes us have a unique, perspective on really connecting authentically with our customers. So in this world of constant connected technology, and what Dawn just referred to is this infinite individualism, so that's understanding that each person is not just a segment, but rather a very dynamic human who could be any one of her personas throughout, any moment of the day, right? So how do we bring together all of her data to actually make her life easier, versus just create more noise or add more traffic?
So years ago, we had the data and we had some element of technology to kind of be able to get somewhat informed about what a person or woman was experiencing in her daily life. Today, though, the data is so much more that it helps us understand them on a whole nother level. So, years ago, we'd get enough information to be able to group or categorize somebody into, say, one of maybe 3 to 5 different pathways. So it really is an opportunity for us to kind of deliver, again, that kind of unique experience that we weren't really able to deliver years ago, but we can today because of the systems and the technology and the data we have.
I feel exactly the same. And I believe the other conversation that Allison and I are having a lot with clients, it's not necessarily even about all the data or more data. It's about how to really take that data in a really connected intelligence approach. And, what I see our role as is really helping translate what that data can mean in terms of a contextual experience and how to be super intuitive about it, to combine, not just whatever the outcome is, but what are the behavioral understandings to make it part of their life.
We started our conversation about how, thank goodness we've moved past the point where women's health was a taboo topic. But while it's demystified, it's still, there's still compartments, right? So how do we continue to drive progress, in women's health and not hit another ceiling or not, plateau, let's say?
We've made such great progress in women's health and wellness. And I'm a big believer that when you've made progress, you need to acknowledge that the progress has been made so that you're not going back and covering the stuff that you've already kind of covered. We're trying to create these experiences by using the data and, taking that intelligence and then having that inform, how we are connecting with our clients, customers in a way that feels special. I mean, I've had interactions with brands where I'm like, oh my God, it's as if they were reading my mind. They knew exactly what I needed in this exact moment. And that, I think, is the way that we're going to be able to measure our progress.
I also believe by recognizing the progress forward versus looking backwards, infinite individualism is absolutely about recognizing that there is no average woman. And the success that we've had to date and what we should still be pushing forward when we're designing these experiences to make them super memorable is really not about putting them in predefined categories, which I think is table stakes in this world. So the brands that operationalize this well are going to take that connected data strategy. And it's not about being the loudest. It's about what's frictionless and making it a very meaningful utility.
Thanks so much for sharing your thoughts on women's health today.